To a water balloon. Your colors are brilliant and bright. You make me smile, you're such a sight. You shine like neon in the night. You're so beautiful, water balloon. But there's something inside you plastic doesn't show. People don't seem to care or to know. It's like you're breaking to pieces. You're lower than low. I worry, water balloon. You're about to burst. You're getting hurt. But still, you keep your knot pursed. Get help, water balloon. You can pour the water into the drain's mouth, but that's the hardest way to take the water out. So make people cry, make people shout, and burst, water balloon. With a devil's grin and will of stone, on an innocent person you are thrown. And now you're just pieces, they cry and they moan. You're no more, water balloon. Could I let you in on a little secret? This poem isn't really about me talking to a water balloon like it may sound. Instead, I'm using the poem as a secret message to talk to the people who feel like water balloons. People who keep their real feelings from friends and family they encounter every day with a badly faked smile. Just like a water balloon hides the state of its water with its better faked rosy color. People who keep their mouths shut and let the oddly twisted knot of their mental state turn more and more. Just like a water balloon's not being pursed makes the state of the water so much worse. People who take all of the frustration they have and throw it on people they actually like, which really makes nothing better. Just like a water balloon's thrown on a friend casually walking down the street. Too many of us feel like water balloons during the pandemic. I think the reason we feel like water balloons is because we're locked inside our homes. And we have to lock our feelings in there with us. Sadly, when you see the rising death toll in the newspaper every day, burying your emotions deep down sounds like frolicking with pretty pink unicorns under a smiley face rainbow. And yes, I detest that. But it's only detestable because it's the truth. Like most truths, we need to accept it. So how do you accept your emotions? What does that mean anyway? Unlike Plato could do back in the whenever Greek was ancient era, we do not have time to deeply analyze our feelings and who we are. Some people don't even have time to watch an episode longer than 20 minutes on TV. And because of this constant hustle, sometimes you're too distracted to even know you're a mess. When you do come to terms with it, however, you have a free benefit. It's guilt. But it's like when you're in a test and none of the options makes complete sense, but option C kind of works. The same reason you select C on the test is why you should accept your emotions. Are you sure about it? No. Does it have its cons? Yes. But it's your best guess. Also, emotions are a little bit like food. If you swallow them without chewing them thoroughly, they are going to come out in a very uncomfortable manner. And more often than not, smell bad. So how do you chew up the food you don't like? Do you add salt? Do you clog up your nose? Do you say, who cares, and snarf up a good packet of Lay's instead? All great solutions, yes. But my favorite trick to swallowing food is understanding it. Knowing its balance of sweet and sour, the amount of salt in it, the parts in it I like, the parts in it I don't. Maybe that's how emotions work. Maybe accepting your emotions isn't about shoving them into you. Maybe accepting your emotions is really just accepting you. Like I used a poem about water balloons to come to terms with how I felt during the pandemic. The trick to coming to terms with your emotion is art. I started writing poetry about little things around me. Nothing too fancy, maybe about how rain smells or how pigeons are the worst creatures to walk the earth. But by the time I finished, I realized that it isn't as much about the world as it's about me. Maybe the reason I hate pigeons is because it looks like they're staring at me with those ugly, beady eyes. Is this how the world really sees me? Are the pigeons right? What if the pigeons are the only things who know what a terrible person I am? It's strange, I know. But that's what emotions are. Strange. This strangeness is also a reason that art is a looking glass into the way you see the world. And emotions are messy. More often than not, they'll come off as a Jackson Pollock painting when you wanted Renaissance artwork. Jackson Pollock paintings are just paint splashed around on the paper. But during the pandemic, I realized that I didn't need to be perfect to do art. After some serious convincing from my mom, I took up doodling. I thought I would be terrible at it, but guess what? I was 100% right. My doodles looked like my pencil had stood up on paper and ran around in random circles. But you know what? That's okay. It's how I felt. Taking this into consideration, you don't need to share your art. It might be too deeply personal to let anyone even take a peek, or you might not be too fond of it. But sharing your art isn't just about people appreciating it and being showered with praise, though that's one of my favorite perks. Sharing your art is about giving out a message. Think about it like passing the parcel. Music blasts in the background. The music's the world's current mess. It depends from time to time, yes. It can be high or low, fast or slow. But one thing is in common. It's always there. And then, as the music starts, a single person gives out a parcel which goes from the next person to the next to the next until the music stops and your message just isn't needed anymore. And just like passing the parcel can bring people together, so can your message. In about 5th grade, a couple of friends and I started a class newspaper. Someone wrote about silly class happenings, someone drew them with great detail and care, which was 10 times better than any photo could be, by the way. And someone edited the grammar mistakes our 5th grade selves were bound to make. It went on strong until 6th grade. But in 7th grade, the pandemic hit. We realized that it wasn't possible to distribute our paper as physical copies anymore. It wasn't fun realizing that. At first, it started off as mild disappointment. But the more I thought about the implications, about how everything was going to change and we needed to adapt to that was scary. But you know what else we realized? Other people are going through the same things as we are. And that's why we need entertainment. We came up with an online version of our newspaper. And to me, frankly, it wasn't just about giving out a message. It was the only way I was keeping in touch with my classmates, my only link with the pleasures of school life. I know I've said a lot during this talk and it might be difficult to digest. So, to wrap up this present, I'll conclude with how art is also a present. Extra suitable because Christmas is in another 2 days. A present left at your door. Art is that and nothing more. Some people in rigor never rest. Their present just has to be the best. And sure, it's something that you can share, but it's not a burden to bear. Because when the sun sets and the day is done, art is just about having fun. Thank you.